See you, Sophie.
My question is this: does both and mind arise out of the creation principle?
That's a question.
Say it again.
Does both and mind arise out of the creation principle?
I don't think so. I mean, both in mind is just a state of mind.
Okay, so
Creation principle. Can you tell me what is the creation principle?
yeah, it's BBM times 3, OPI OPM.
Okay, now, what does that mean? See, somebody said, what does that mean? No, you
What
said it made it more complicated, like a mathematical formula, but in a mathematical language that some people don't know. But just say what it is in plain English.
when you increase when you increase everything 2.5 to 3 times in the realm of time, space, energy, object, and relationship. That would be the way of formulating the creation principle. I'm aware that in the creation principle, it's not possible to say you're in both and mind unless you're confirmed in positive mind. That's something you taught me years ago, that like people could talk about, well, that's both and, but it doesn't seem like it really strikes the chord of both and, because when I think of both and, I think of the infinity symbol. It has a symbol to it and a transmission. And I think of infinity and I think it's this and that, because your consciousness is in positive mind and all possibilities. So that's why I asked about whether or not it was attached to the creation principle, because it seems like when you're focused on 2.5 to 3 times in the realms of time, space, energy, object, and relationship, that would automatically vibrate to positive mind, infinity, both and you'd be practicing and embodying the creation principle. That's my thought. Had to just see if that's true or not.
Well, it's true enough, but the question that I want to ask you is, where does this language come from?
The language of the creation principle, it's a mathematical formula.
The language you're using. These are concepts, but where do they come from?
It's yogic technology from the point of view of the initial seed of conception.
You understand what you're talking about?
Not quite.
See if you can
Well,
talk to her and get a conversation going, and so it's clear to you
So
what she's talking about.
to me, it sounds like the creation principle is the maximization of everything in every sense. But if it's
Okay.
a mathematical equation, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's just times 5 energy, matter.
Okay, so let's just get it down to the basics. Let's get it back down to sex. So if we just think about the sperm wanting to impregnate a woman, that sperm has to travel at least 2.5 times around to be able to make the mark. So there's the idea of evolution or creation with that sperm in a woman's womb going into impregnate.
That's a yoga idea.
2.5 times around the egg, and to get the angle right to be able to penetrate. That's a new one to me.
So what does the 2.5 times have to do with, okay, so I get that creation equals that action or that movement, and how does that equate to energy, matter, and the other three things you said?
Well, think about how hard that sperm has got. There's thousands of sperms coming at a woman to impregnate her. There's all of them waiting for the chance to just make the chance to just to the one, right? If you just think about if you're energetically working throughout space and energy and any relationship, if your frequency is at level of where that sperm wants to actually ovulate a woman, it seems like that same energy, you know, that mighty sperm, you're like that mighty sperm in your life through time, space, energy, objects, and relationships.
So shaken out on a practical level, you would say you were about to set a goal for making money for the day. And the BBBDM stands for bare bones, butt dragon minimum. So you would maybe get together with your friends or just, you know, maybe yourself, and just you would plot out what the bare bone butt dragon minimum is for that day. And then you would project what is 2.5 times that, or what we often would do is 3 times, right? Like what is 3 times that? And so you would plot out, okay, the bare bones butt dragon minimum I want to make today to be in integrity with what I've put out there for my life is $1,100. I want to come into my situation today. And so then what you'd set your goal for and you'd get your energy set up for is to draw in $3,300, right? Because 1,100 times 3 is 3,300. So you do everything times 3. When we had the bookstore, whenever there was a book that was really hot, that people really just loved and wanted to buy and asked for, we were to get at least 3 times the normal amount that we would order. And in that way, we set ourselves up so our energy and our frequency, you know, kind of reaches for 3 times what, you know, 3 times. And we have that kind of idea where we're, you know, times 3ing things. And that's how we kind of get our frequency, get our projection in line with that.
Mm-hmm.
Bare bones, butt dragon minimum times 3, times 2.5, or times 3.
Yeah,
That's a good idea about the number of times the sperm circulates the egg, or finding the right angle for penetration. And then that idea, that's the foundation creation of existence. So that idea would apply to everything. Understand the point of creation, what the optimal point of creation is.
What's coming to mind for me, kind of stepping back from the math of what's going on, is on a conceptual level, it sounds like if you set yourself up for abundance in life, then you hit the mark. If you set yourself up to just barely hit the mark, you oftentimes fall short.
Yeah, you're not ready for the unexpected, what you can't predict.
And then there's the other part of the equation, OPI, OPM, from the creation principle, which is other people's intelligence, other people's money. So the use of
In other words, that's
other people.
the way people get wealthy is instead of thinking they have to spend their own money, they get creative with other people's intelligence and other people's money, then everybody gets wealthy.
Mm.
That's the basic yogic idea about how to create unlimited wealth. Hey, there's popping up there. Who is that? Looks like Ramana. Ramana, do you have something to talk about tonight?
No, I don't.
Saraswati, do you have something to talk about? Thank you for sharing your painting video with us.
You're welcome.
I'm excited to be working in this little room and making it beautiful and clearing it out, and then maybe making some money. That's my goal.
Here, here.
Here, here.
Hey, Garuda, are you there?
Yes, sir. I am here.
What do you
And
want to talk about tonight?
I'm curious of why Saraswati says she's in a little room. Where are you?
I'm in the room that was the music studio in the garage.
It's becoming their house.
Oh, in the heaven place?
In the heaven place.
Okay. I was curious about where you guys were.
I have another question, Marcia.
What's that?
Is there a symbol that represents every one of the three treasures? A symbol of transmission or no?
Is there a symbol that
Have you ever
represents
thought
the
about
three
that?
treasures?
I've never thought about that. But infinity isn't bad. It would be bad.
I'd like to know that because symbols really stick.
You might create it as you come to understand what those three treasures are.
Chico, what are the three treasures?
The creation principle, the Magdalena way, and the golden formula. And all of them have a symbol. And so I was just meditating on the symbol in the last 24 hours because I could feel that that's wanting to be birthed next and really understanding myself. And this is a formula of success in Rudra Yoga. And many other people have received it. You are new and our guest is new. And it's if you study yourself in relationship to this, in everything we do, we can be successful. And so I always think about there's always a transmission. Sometimes somebody can receive something in a visual, and sometimes just a particular formula, or this is why I kept thinking about both and mind. People talk about both and mind without understanding, well, yeah, well, we could do that and that, but is that really both and mind? Is that the real state where we go through? The state is that can you be confirmed in positive mind? So I can never say, oh, I'm in both and. I'm never able to say, yeah, I'm in both and mind unless I'm in confirmed positive mind. I wondered if it was a part where it was birthed from the creation principle or not. So I think about these things, and then I just kept seeing that there is an actual symbol for the three treasures. And this is kind of what I've been meditating on in general. I mean, obviously the Magdalene way would be the union between Christ consciousness and Magdalene. So it's a symbol of unity or union that I'm aware. And then the
Shakina, do you know
infinity.
what both and mine is?
I don't.
Like, I hear people say it's both and I get the it's both and as a concept, but if you were to
Right.
ask me what both and mind is, I guess that means above duality.
As opposed to either or. You can have both and instead of, oh man, I really am attracted to going to Sudan, but also I'd really love to go to Antarctica this summer. And then, you know, having it be like, wow, maybe I can go to both places, and just increasing your focus and relaxing that either or. So then
What did you
then
say,
you have
Lisa?
both and mind.
That's right. That's an open mind.
An open mind.
Yes.
Thank
Can
you.
I ask a question about both and? Is
You have a
both
question?
and is both
Sorry,
and an
man.
option if you don't have the means for either one? Like, what happens if there's an idea and it's, oh, it's a great idea, let's do both, but there isn't the ground behind it? Can we still practice both and in a situation like that? What is the both and?
Give an example.
So let's say I have $50 for food this week. And I go, wow, I would really love to buy a latte. And I would really love to have a smash burger. And then you think, oh, well, we're in Rudra Yoga, so we do both and, but there's only $50 or something. That's the only example that's coming to mind right now, is when the desire body starts to grow, but there isn't the individual providing the things for themselves. I guess that's where I wonder, like, how could I practice both and if I have a idea or I have a desire of this thing and there's this other thing that exists, but there isn't the funds for it? Then I can't really practice both and, because I obviously just need to keep focusing on my ground. Is that how you would relate to it in that situation?
Well, the ground is the name. The ground isn't money. The ground is the silence and the name, the holy Nam that holds the world.
I
I think
have a response to that.
So does Tyree. It's
Oh.
from our, yeah, go ahead.
I think I understand what is saying, where it's both and minds, not both and action. You cultivate the mindset of abundance. It doesn't necessarily mean that you go out and get both things immediately physically. It's a
There's three levels of mind, and the highest level of mind is recognition, or just direct transmission of knowledge. So if you're in either or mind, you're in the world of form. And you're thinking, well, it's either this or this, or I want this or this. Why not I do this or this? And then if you move into either or mind, you're open. It can be this way or that way. You just have an open space to allow light to come in, and that's how it works.
So you could get the latte and then something magically might happen where the smash burger also shows up.
Yeah, right.
You could have a day where you get the latte and the smash burger with extra whipped cream and extra ketchup And then you also get ingredients for mung beans and rice. And then the rest of the week you have a mung beans and rice mono diet, which, you know, tastes great, but doesn't cost much. But you have the satisfaction of having gone out and gotten your desire of the latte and the smash burger. And then meanwhile, because you know, included your desire as well as, you know, a different kind of thing, because it's fun as hell to do mung beans and rice, you know, and you spend a lot of time cooking and it's amazing. And then that abundance just brought about, you know, new opportunities, or somebody calls you for lessons, you know, or a sound bath or something.
That's right. You get it. Well said.
I have a different response.
Let's hear it.
So my response is that a person who wants those things always must go and work deeper within oneself in Rudra practice, and then continuously not going through a negative thought, no matter what it is. So you're holding both your concentration and it's what they call the path of least resistance. You're holding where you are, what you want, and anybody that's going to be successful in business must create at least 3 forms of income. So it's not just, I want to do this, not one, it must be at least 3 at a bare bones butt dragon minimum, if not more. And they hold all of those. When one's down, the other one comes up. But it's not possible to create with negative mind. So no matter what, it's going to test you and your ability to stay positive. And then what happens is automatically something arises that would have just come out of nowhere, and it'll gift you. It'll gift you. And listen, I've been doing this for a long time. It's constant in my life. And it's true and it's real, but it's digging deeper inside your being and knowing that it's there for you. And it's about working internally through Rudra breath, asking deeply. And there's no way to manifest outside of oneself if there's not the depth of gratitude and the dedication to service. Those two must be in place for that kind of level to come through, and in fierce concentration. That's it. It's plugging your survival instinct, like you got to feed the baby. I got to buy milk and I want to have a latte. I got to feed the kid and I really want a latte because it's going to feel good. And you have 3 realms of income sources at a minimum, and you're fierce in your determination without a negative thought. That's what I experienced. And I've not perfected it by any means, but I'm always studying how to do it and the way Murshid does. And he's a perfect example because he's constantly, everybody works to their capacity, but Issa's like a big buffalo. So Issa as a buffalo is forced to work very, very, very deep. Not everybody works like a buffalo. Murshida is very, very like, she doesn't work in the same way he works, but the way you have to work is according to your design. That's all. It's internal. It's all internal. But you have some incredible examples living there at heaven and outside heaven. Thank you.
Very good discussion. Everybody's thinking. You're starting to really understand the foundation principles of yoga. I've been working on teaching this to you for a long time, and it didn't seem like anybody was getting it. Now tonight, it seems like everybody's getting it.
Yay!
Yay is right. Makes me happy.
And then we go on to the 3 treasures of Virja Yoga. So then we look at the Magdalena way, where we dedicate and use our sexual energy to heal ourselves and others. it's not possible to be successful at this level of manifestation without all three constantly working and you studying yourself and according to these three treasures every single day. How to use your life force. When you meet someone in front of you, do you always give them energy? Do you always make their day? Do you always give back the energy that you receive consistently by a siddha, by the place that you call heaven, by the place that we call in our communities? Do we use our sexual energy to give back at the level that we receive? So if there's a problem, it normally goes back to an issue of not giving back to the level that we receive to anybody or anything that appears in front of us. And so I always look at that. Am I giving back, or am I working hard, or am I communicating or helping others to the level that I'm given? So when there's a lack or an issue around manifestation of money, am I giving back to the source, to the level the source is giving me? And if it's not hooking up, you better go deeper in your Rudra practice, going deeper, asking deeply for God to help you, begging for your life in Rudra practice, deeply with gratitude, because it's the only way it comes. And knowing, am I dedicating and serving a person to their point of view, not your point of view, their point of view. That is the second element of the three treasures, which is vital besides the creation principle.
I would like to ask for some clarification on that point in giving back what you're receiving or operating on the other person's terms. Of course, that applies to positive interaction, but does that apply similarly to negative interaction, or is it your responsibility to not reflect negativity?
It is not, it is your responsibility not to engage in negativity. And it doesn't mean you have to engage. You can witness, you can take a deep breath, you can help them person process. It just would, what Rudrananda would say is that it's just it's a karmic pattern appearing in front of you. So you take a deep breath and you keep processing, and that will help dissolve the tension that is there. It'll create space. What you want to always, when there's tension, is about the ability to create space around something. And when there's space, to create that moving. When anybody works deeper in Rudra, will to come forward or move away.
Okay.
There was a teacher named Gen, and he would talk about, there was a woman we worked with. There was a cleaning business that was started, I believe, by Isa. And we were engaged in cleaning a large building of offices. And there was somebody I worked with, and she would get very angry and very loud, and it was a lot. And one time I complained to Gen, and he said, Elizabeth's a big meal, a big meal. In other words, when someone gives you negativity, it's food, it's energy. You just look at it as energy for you. You look at it as pure energy. You take the emotion, you take the emotional quality that it stirs up in you, and you use that as proof of this life in yourself. You use that to bring yourself to life. And then when you do Rudra practice with that amount of energy in front of you, you breathe, you take that energy in, feel like it expands you, it excites your cells, it builds you as a being. You're eating it, you're taking, that energy and using it for food, and you're not letting it get to you or make you mad. You're saying, okay, this is pure energy aimed at me, so I'm going to use this as my fuel right now. I'm going to breathe it in and feel it expand my heart, and I'm going to hold my breath. And then, then do the rest of Rudra practice. Exhale. And then inhale. And if you want, swallow and feel it gather in your belly and expand that whole area with the intensity that, you can look at it as you're lucky enough that that person's aiming that intensity on you, and you're using it to build your being as tantric fuel. So, so that's taking that energy and not letting it bring out the negativity in you. And it just, it's negative, but you can use it to help build you as a positive being who helps change that person and yourself. And in that way, it's like a big meal. Like you just ate something that's really going to fuel you. That's really going to transform you.
Yeah, it brings to mind something that's helped me. This perspective that all emotions are secondary to the emotion of love. Where anger, you feel anger because you are dissatisfied in love. If you feel sad because it's connected to love. And so if you look at, so-called negative emotions or negative energies that people may be directing your way with that perspective, you can see it as just love and consume it.
For me, sadness a lot of times and grief is like love I didn't get to express.
Yep.
Or I'm not letting myself express.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
What is the third path? Or the third
Treasure.
symbol?
Treasure.
The third treasure.
The golden formula. Have you heard about it?
Tell her
So the
about
golden formula has 4 parts. It is, what is the greatest good for the greatest number? Number 1. Number 2, including what appears in front of me. Number 3, with the wish of the evolution at this time. Number 4, and the evolution of the entire galactic universe, including oneself. I'll repeat. No, the golden formula has 4 parts. 1, what is the greatest good for the greatest number? Number 2, including what appears in front of me. Number 3, with a wish for the evolution at this time. Number 4, and the evolution of the entire galactic universe, including oneself. Those are
so
the
happy that
treasures.
everybody's getting this.
So I would like to offer anyone that would like to work with me, because over the years, I've been able to journal with myself with these 3 treasures, because they're vital to actually getting the essence of Ruja Yoga and journaling it every day. And if you keep your consciousness within the 3 treasures every day and you work on it, like how did I do? Just like in the beautiful You Are Responsible training that Mershida and Mersha developed. If you think of the 3 treasures throughout the day, you will attract situations that far exceed anything that's ordinary in your day, and you'll put it into the context of practice. So I'd like to re-begin my practice, because I've done this many years ago, and it just came to me very clearly that there are symbols and signs around these transmissions, and I want to discover them again by journaling. That's why I'm bringing it up, because it's something that has always inspired me, because I'm like, I want to get that right. I want to figure it out. And if anybody would like to do that practice with me, I'm happy to do that and invite you. And it's something that I did many years ago with a whole group of people with haha. For several years we did it, and then I did other things. But I'd like to repick that practice up, because why not figure that part out? Why not perfect it? Why not get it right so you carry on our lineage with all of our lineage beings here, everyone here. So we figure it out together. That's what I was thinking.
I feel like Rudra Yoga is being born tonight.
It's very important to me, and it keeps being brought up to not bring the teaching to this level, be at the level of the way you practice immersion and the way it's consistently in positive mind, no matter what's coming at you, which is a lot. And Rashida is an example of this. She's an absolute expert at, no matter what's coming up, you keep your mind clear. I bow to that, as I'm struggled quite a bit with that. But I do know that just within these three, it contains something that can bring everybody out of poverty consciousness and transmit the way it's supposed to be. That's all. That's what I was thinking today, and it's simple. That's why I wanted to bring it up. And thank you for sharing. Let me share.
Well, I think the Rudra Yoga is being born tonight, and it's most special night. I feel like, in a way, my work is complete because I've transmitted what I received from the beings that gave to me, and particularly Yogi Bhajan in case of what we're talking about here, and transmitted it to you, and now you're carrying it out. So this is a very special night for all of us. And if nobody has anything else to bring up, we'll pass this to Clint after it's received from Shiva through Murshida.
Next week is Yogi Bhajan's birthday.
Next week is Yogi Bhajan's birthday.
Yesterday?
Next week.
Next week.
Oh,
He's a Leo.
What's the date?
Virgo, hun.
Virgo.
What's the date?
26th, August 26th. I'm gonna put it in the chat.
The double fearlessness. 8-8. And then 26 is an 8.
infinity.
8-8, infinity. Double chronic. Body, mind, mastery. Pretty cool. What was the year? What was it? Do you know his year of birth?
Oh boy, he was 75 and he died in 2004. So, mathematics. Let's see. 1929.
Oh, and that's an 11. So the 11 is in your let's see. The 11 is the gift number, so he had the full bag of tricks. All the seekers, all of their specialties, special characteristics. That's his gift. Okay, so that's a little numerology for Yogi Bhajan from his own teaching. All right, we're on number 63 for Shiva's instructions to Parvati. When a moonless, raining night is not present, close eyes and find blackness before you. Opening eyes, see blackness. So faults disappear forever.
Oh,
Wow, that's beautiful.
my goodness.
When a
So what
moonless
disappears forever?
faults, the knocks, like the Sufis would call them knocks. When a moonless, raining night is not present, Close eyes and find blackness before you. Opening eyes, see blackness. So faults disappear forever.
Wow.
The video. It's funny. It's really funny.
Thank you all for coming tonight, and let's bring Clint forward to take us out with 3 Japanese yes.
Hey,
Hey,
hey, hey.
hey, hey.
Computer, turn off.